Hello everyone. It seems that NIO will bring 5 new models to the market in the next 7 months, so by June next year, and then they will have a total of 8 models available. And one of the new models will be a Tesla Model Y competitor. In this video, I will talk about these 5 models, which vehicles will be these 5 models in my opinion. Of course, it is just a guess. We will talk how is it possible that there will be 8 models altogether. We will talk about which one will be the Tesla Model Y competitor. And we will also have some spy shots about 3 new vehicles. Okay, so let's start this investigation. First of all, I wanted to double check whether what the CNEVPOST writes is correct or not. So I have searched for the transcript of this earnings call, which was actually on 10th of November. And I have found one transcript on the Motley Fool, which is an investing website. And according to this transcript, William Lee, the CEO of NIO, said that so for the product lineup in the first quarter of next year, in the first half of next year, we are going to have 5 new products. And I believe probably one of them is going to be like the Model Y2 Tesla-like you mentioned. Okay, so this 2 is probably just a typo. However, the main difference between this transcript and what CNEVPOST wrote is that in this transcript there is no mentioning at all that according to NIO, they will have 8 vehicles in their lineup by June. So which text is the correct? I think this was translated from Chinese because William Lee usually talks in Chinese and it writes here that foreign language. So there can be mistakes here. On the other hand, if we look at CNEVPOST.com, this was actually their live text coverage and they can also make mistakes. This was also a translation. However, these people are Chinese people. CNEVPOST.com is a Chinese web page, although it is in English. And because they work every day in this area, I think they are quite reliable. So for the sake of this video, I will assume that what they wrote here is correct. So let's get into it and let us investigate the first sentence first. If we go to NIO's web page, you can see that they have 6 models currently. 3 of them are brand new, these 3 in the top, and 3 of them are older vehicles on their older platform, the ES8, ES6 and EC6, and the platform is the NT1 platform. So how is it possible that NIO has currently 6 vehicles? They bring in 5 new models and they will get 8 in the end. In my opinion, this is only possible if NIO brings only 2 brand new vehicles to the market, and in parallel they refresh 3 of their old vehicles. And this actually makes complete sense. As I have said before, NIO currently has 3 vehicles which are based on the old NT1 platform, and I have just created a video about these vehicles and why I think that demand for these vehicles are dropping. The video is called "Is NIO experiencing the Osborne effect?" So you can check out this video for the details, but the most important message in this video is that NIO has to refresh these vehicles in the near future. And we actually have some spy shots about the refreshed ES8. Of course, most of it is camouflaged because this is a test vehicle, but we can already see the 3 bumps on the top of the vehicle, which is usual for the newer NT2 platform. The middle bump is for the LiDAR. And actually there are rumors that this vehicle will be longer than the previous one. This change makes sense in my opinion because the ES8 is the flagship vehicle for NIO, so making it bigger even if the price gets higher as well won't be a problem for the customers, especially because there are smaller vehicles in NIO's lineup. This is also a good change in my opinion, because this is a 3-road vehicle, and making it longer will give more space in the 3rd row and in the luggage in the trunk. Okay, so this has been the older vehicles, which will be refreshed, very likely. Now let us move to the brand new vehicles. And actually one of the brand new vehicles will very likely be the shooting brake version of the ET5. We have spy shots from this as well. A shooting brake is basically similar to an estate, and basically it is a subset of wagons, station wagons, where the roofline is more coupe-like. Or at least this is how I understand it. Please correct me in the comment field if you disagree. So the shooting brake market is not big in China and actually around the world. Probably the biggest is still in Europe. So if this is not a big market segment, why is NIO trying to enter here? According to CNEVPOST, one of the reasons might be the success of the Zeekr 001, which is much bigger than the ET5, but it is also a shooting brake and it looks great. And they have sold 10,000 of these in October, which is actually a great number. That is as much as what NIO sold altogether in October with its 6-vehicle lineup. In my opinion, the shooting brake market should have a renaissance. I believe that earlier they went out from the market because the models were not really sexy. But as you can see, the Zeekr 001 looks great. Also the Porsche Taycan Cross Turismo looks great in my opinion, which is also an estate. If I look at the design in the overall car industry, it seems like it is more advanced now than it was a couple of years ago. So maybe now they will be able to produce much more beautiful shooting brakes. And if we add that the NIO's latest vehicles look amazing, it is very likely that this will be the case for the ET5 shooting brake as well. There are other reasons for NIO to go for this new vehicle, and one reason is actually that ET5 seems to be very popular. There has been estimates of 200,000 pre-orders, which is an incredibly large number. And the waiting time for the locked orders has been 5 to 6 months. Currently, the app doesn't show the waiting time for the ET5. However, I think that we can assume that the ET5 is still a very popular vehicle. So if we create the estate version of a very popular vehicle, that estate version will be also likely popular. One of the popularity of the ET5 is its looks. It looks beautiful, but the other reason might be that it is the cheapest model for NIO. The ET5 estate will also be without direct competitors. I personally do not know any estates in the electric luxury midsize segment. So my overall opinion about the shooting brake version of the ET5 is that it is a good direction for NIO. Now we only have 1 vehicle left from the 5 new models. And as we have discussed it previously, that should be a Tesla Model Y competitor. In order for a vehicle to be a Model Y competitor, mainly 2 things should happen. Its dimensions, or in other words size, should be similar, and the price should be about the same as well. First, let us start with the dimensions. I have created this spreadsheet where I have gathered the dimensions of Tesla's and NIO's SUVs. You can find a link to this spreadsheet in the description field. NIO's biggest SUV is the ES8, then a little bit smaller is the ES7, and again a little bit smaller is the ES6. The EC6 is just a coupe version of the ES6. For EC6, these numbers are not necessarily exactly true, but they are definitely close to the real numbers, because EC6 is just a coupe version of ES6. Anyways, so the ES6 is NIO's smallest SUV, yet it is still bigger than the Model Y. I have calculated the size difference between ES6 and Model Y, and we have an almost 100 mm difference in length, 44 mm difference in width, 107 mm difference in height, and actually the wheelbase is almost the same. I believe if NIO wants to make a Model Y competitor, it should bring out something like an ES5, i.e. a slightly smaller vehicle than the ES6. And this will also help in terms of price, because that vehicle will be very likely cheaper than the ES6, so it will be closer both in size and price to the Model Y, at least without the batteries. However, there is a twist in the story, and the twist is that NIO EC7 is already spotted in China as a test vehicle, and the EC7 is basically the coupe version of ES7, so it will have very similar dimensions. I have also calculated the size difference between ES7 and Model Y, and as you can see, it is quite big. So to me it is hard to imagine that this car will be the one which they consider a Model Y competitor. Partially because the prices of the NIO ES7, which is called ES7 in Europe, starts basically at 400,000 RMB in China, and that is actually where the Model Y lineup ends. And these prices are without the batteries. So NIO ES7 prices start without the batteries, where Model Y prices ends. This means that both in size and price, the ES7 will be significantly above Model Y, which makes it an unlikely Model Y competitor. On the other hand, the fact that they are already testing the EC7 should be an indication that it will be out by June. Tell me in the comment field, what do you think about this? Will NIO come out with an ES5-like vehicle in the next 5 months? Or only with this EC7? As a summary, I can say that it seems true that NIO will come out with 5 new vehicles in the next 7 months, so until June, 3 of which will be very likely the refreshed versions of the ES8, ES6 and EC6. One will be the estate version of the ET5, and one will be a Model Y competitor, which might be called ES5, or it might be this EC7. Anyways, time will tell. However, what I am quite sure is that by June, with these 5 new vehicles, they will have a really competitive lineup. And very likely they will export these new vehicles to Europe as well. Okay, we have arrived to the end of this video. If you liked it, please don't forget to comment, share and give it a thumbs up. And if you like the channel, don't forget to subscribe. Thank you.